Oh, hey kids.
There's always something that needs fed up here on Grandpa's farm in Alaska. A place where you're always welcome. Come on, Lily, let's go feed. Hey, I wanted to show you a little bit of the road. I have to make a long drive down to Seward, Alaska today. I'm doing a 500-mile round trip to get all my stuff off my boat. I believe I've sold the boat. I think I've got a guy coming today to pick up the boat from me. So I gotta go down here and get all my stuff off. So I had to go out and do the feeding really early this morning. Pigs weren't even up yet. And now we're heading on down the road, so I wanted to show you some of this. Let me show you a little bit of the Parks Highway. I think we're about mile 90 on the Parks Highway. So we're 90 miles north of Anchorage and we're going 150 miles south of it. And I'm gonna film a bit of this because some folks have asked me to see what it looks like here in Alaska. I think Wanda, actually, from Deep South Homestead. Shout out to those great folks, Danny and Wanda. I think it was Wanda that wanted to see some of Alaska. So here you go, Wanda. Right here, we're just about mile 90, so I'm at mile 96 on the Parks Highway. We're just a little bit south of my place. As you can see, this is kind of typical for up here. They do tend to keep the roads very well maintained. They do cut the trees back wide off the highway, so we've got plenty of opportunity to see mooses that are running out in the highway, so we can stop and slow down or whatever so we don't run one over. Mooses are absolutely the worst problem we have up here in Alaska for driving. More accidents are people hitting mooses than people hitting people up here, or at least that seems like the way to me. We actually have signs up in places saying how many mooses are killed each year, trying to give everybody a heads up and reminder that you got to be on the watch for mooses. Not too bad in spring, summer, and fall, both of those months, but it is pretty bad up here in the wintertime. Hey, look at that. Here's somebody coming the other way. It's about 5:50 in the morning, and oh, there's another. Wow, we got traffic, folks. That's a lot of traffic for this hour in the morning. Those are the first two cars I've seen. Anyhow, this is kind of what it looks like as we head out this morning. So I thought you might want to see a little bit of that. There's another car. I'll be darned. I have to admit, I'm usually not out on the highway at this hour of the morning. I guess this must be morning rush hour. Everybody heading off to their jobs. Oop, a little bouncy there. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy. Oh, there's another one. I'll be darned. Wow. Yeah, see, that's more typical of what we said. There's another one. Wow. I'm surprised. There's a lot of traffic out on the road this morning for this. Well, it's almost 6 a.m. I guess people are heading up to Fairbanks. That's a long drive, so they got to get going. And that's about the only place where people would be headed to going this direction. Oh, some folks live up near me, driving there, but this is a lot of folks maybe driving all the way to Fairbanks or some of the job sites up on the highway maybe. Oh, it could be highway workers going up. Yep, I didn't think of that. They're probably getting up there to their job. Their job probably starts in 10 minutes. There's a construction project just north of me on the highway where they're building another overpass over the railroad. I'll bet you they're all heading to that. So that would explain the traffic. Yeah, so just think about this as you're driving on those highways in the city near you. Think about how much traffic you have to deal with, and you can see what kind of traffic we have to deal with up here. It's still remote enough and little enough traffic that we still kind of wave at each other at times and say hello. Even even if we are driving 65 miles an hour past each other. See the morning fog. Let me open my window. Might get a little noisy here. I might edit out the sound there in post-production if there's a bunch of wind noise there. I got my dead cat on my mic, so it shouldn't be too bad. Dead cat's the little furry thing that covers up microphones protected from the wind. That's what they call them. I didn't name them that, but that's what they're called, a dead cat. If you don't believe me, look it up. Oh boy. Got a piece of land for sale up here, just put on the market. Right over there, where that, just past those little flags, right where that birch tree is. Yep, right there. I got a piece of land for sale. It's a real nice piece of land. Got a foundation in it already, 40 by 48 foundation in, although concrete work was done well. The guy started framing on top of it. That framing will need to be tore off and redone. Some of the failed hopes and dreams of people, I tell you, they get up here, and he laid up a really nice insulated block foundation, and then went ahead and put a treated 2x6 framed floor joist system for floors, and covered that with that particle board, which is just crap, and didn't build on top of it immediately, so it got exposed to the weather, so all the particle board rotted, and he had to pull all that up, and then the 2x6 frames dried out, so they got all cattywonker, and well, it's just kind of the way it is. So anyhow, I think that's enough for here. We'll get some more as we get further down the road. Going to be a lot of really pretty spots here along the road, so follow along, especially as we get towards the end. We get down there by Seward. It's just some beautiful spots going through the mountains and along the ocean there. Town of Houston, Alaska. Like Houston, Texas, but Houston, Alaska. And one of the real interesting things about Houston, Alaska is it's quickly becoming the marijuana capital of Alaska. A lot of the, or at least of this borough here. We don't have counties in Alaska, we have boroughs. All this traffic I got to deal with. Anyhow, the borough of Houston, Alaska has decided to make marijuana legal so people can grow it and sell it here. A lot of the other towns in the borough have made it illegal to do that in their towns and in the borough. And so the only place in the Matsu borough that you can legally grow and sell marijuana is here in the town of Houston, which was a really smart thing for Houston to do, because now they're going to collect tons of revenue, huge tax dollars as a result of it. So it'll be real interesting to see how that develops. I do have some land for sale here in Houston, Alaska. If you decide you want to have a grow operation right here off to the right-hand side of the road in those woods over there. I've got, you see right here it says Horizon Way. Well, right there, those trees we're looking at now is part of 2.3 acres that I've got for sale for $55,000 right here in the prime area to grow marijuana here in Alaska. So if you want to have a fun business with a cash crop, this would be the place to be, and for $55,000 you can buy 2 acres of land zoned Parks Highway Commercial, which is an area that would be approved for a marijuana grow operation. Thought you guys would get a kick out of seeing that. As you can see here, I'm getting down closer to Wasilla. It's now 6:20 in the morning, so we're just about 20 minutes later, and traffic is already beginning to pick up and get jumping here. So I guess I better start paying pretty close attention to our road system here. So we'll get more here in a little bit. Fortunately, I'm behind a big semi, but you start seeing some of the mountains here in front of us. approaching Wasilla. We're just about at an area known as Big Lake, Alaska. B-I-G-L-A-K-E, Big Lake, Alaska. In fact, the Big Lake turnoff is coming off right here in a minute. And this is right where we're running out of Houston, actually. We're leaving Houston. This piece of land right there, I sold that piece of land right there, that land right there. I just sold that for $65,000 here a little bit ago to a guy putting in a grow operation. This is our local fireworks stand, Guerrilla Fireworks. He is just outside of the city limits of Wasilla, so he can be licensed to sell fireworks right there. He's got like 4 fireworks stands in a row. Yeah, there's a little bit more of the mountains. I'm afraid we're going to get into some crappy weather once we hit the mountains and start getting south of them as we go past the ocean, what's known as the Nick Arm, because it's going to be raining down there. So I may have to use some older footage, maybe from this previous winter or from this spring that I shot. But we'll take a look at it. Anyhow, let me get going. Yep, that's right. Grandpa's speeding. Doing 59 and a 55, I guess. I've got this slowed down in through here because it's more of the construction site. There's a huge construction project going on here in the north end of the Matsu Valley. They're trying to take the highway here and make it into 4-lane all the way. And so they're building up the roads and getting things ready to open this up into 4 lanes of traffic, 2 each direction. There's a common scene in Alaska, somebody hauling their 4-wheelers around, their toys. Right now it's 4-wheelers. Here in about another month or so, it's going to be all snow machines. And man, is there a bunch of snow machines. All of our roads up here, this Main Parks Highway, there's a trail off to the side of the road. I don't know if you can see it down over there. The dirt opened up. People ride their 4-wheelers along the sides of the roads here all the time. And perfectly okay, perfectly legal. You can ride your 4-wheeler. I could take a 4-wheeler from where I am and run all the way down into Wasilla and back on a 4-wheeler if I chose to, and would be perfectly legal there over there on that trail. In some places they actually pave that trail. They have it cleaned up and graded out and paved. In some places it's just dirt. But they do maintain it, they plow it, and they sweep it. So they keep that trail open. Now they don't, once the snow starts coming on, they don't plow it to keep all the snow off. They plow it and grade it out and maintain it for snowmobiling. But here we are in a pass. You see the beautiful sunrise coming up. Beautiful view of the mountains there. That's where we're going, over that direction. This is the Alaska Range over here on our left. You can barely see it. And beautiful sunrise coming up this morning. We're coming down here to one of my favorite diners. If I had more time, I would stop and get breakfast. But I got a long way to go today, so I'm not going to stop there. And that's that little odd-shaped building over there, the Denali Restaurant. Kind of right there. I don't know if you can kind of make it out yet, but right there is the Denali Restaurant. Great little breakfast spot. Anyhow, we're starting to come into Wasilla, Alaska. You can see the traffic is picked up. Wasilla is the center of the economic base for the Matsu Valley. The Matanuska-Susitna borough is the borough we live in, and that has actually the majority of the population in Alaska lives here in the Matanuska-Susitna borough. And we're not the very north end, but we're on the north side of that right now. We're coming down south, and we just went through an area known as Meadow Lakes. And now we're heading further south into Wasilla proper. You see the mountains up there in the distance. There's a combination pizzeria and greenhouse over there. Kind of neat. The pizzeria has their has their greenhouses, so they make all their own vegetables for the toppings for their pizza. They grow their onions and green peppers, and they grow their herbs and stuff for making fresh pizza. And I guess that's just what you got to do up here in Alaska. If you want good pizza, you got to grow it yourself. One thing about Alaskans is these folks are hardy folks that have a do-it-yourself attitude. Most of the people up here are not the kind of mamby-pamby people I see down in the lower 48. Present company excluded, of course. But, you know, you just see some people who are just some real wieners. Can't do anything for themselves. I'll give you a perfect example of that. I bought a piece of plywood the other day. And it's stamped on the back of the plywood. It said, in the state of California, cutting plywood has been known to cause sawdust. And I was like, really? People in California are so stupid they need a sign telling them that if I cut a piece of plywood, I'm going to make sawdust? Really? Has our society gotten that bad that people don't understand that sawdust comes from saws? And in order to cut a piece of plywood, you got to use a saw? Of course you're going to make sawdust. What a ridiculous thing to have stamped on a piece of plywood. But no doubt some lawsuit happened somewhere where that plywood manufacturer decided it was necessary to tell them people in California that cutting a piece of plywood is going to make sawdust. Oop, we're going to get stopped at a light. All right. Right here, we are right next to the Best Western here, the Nancy Lakes Best Western. It's over in the woods to the right of us. You can't see it. It sits over there on a little lake. It's really pretty. Kind of see the mountains as we get directly into the sunlight. And here we're going to go right through Wasilla. And, you know, Wasilla is a town like any other town. There's really not much to it. So I don't know if I'm going to show you too much of Wasilla, but we'll see, especially with the sunlight in our eyes. Here's a little bit of what Wasilla, Alaska looks like. Grocery stores, McDonald's, banks, post office, credit unions, Dairy Queen, Pizza Hut, Napa Auto Parts, Midas. Beautiful little lake there. It's going to be hard for me to show that to you with the sun coming right in, but see some of the mountains out there in the distance. We got our Fred Meyer's grocery store coming up here on the left. Got a car wash place and an auto body repair shop and a Burger King and the recruiter's office for the armed services. Target store. Got the local Verizon cell phone, AT&T cell phone. We got a mattress and AutoZone. Just, you know, a health club over there, the Alaska Club. There's a little mall down over there where there's a Walgreens and some stuff. There's your Tesoro gas station, kind of typical for here in Alaska. This is the city of Wasilla, and you know, it's no different than Des Moines or Oshkosh or any other town, you know. We got our Taco Bells and our Starbucks, and there's a Starbucks for all the Starbucks fans. Famous footwear. Over here to the left, behind the Red Robin, is a Sportsman's Warehouse, good sporting goods store. Up here to the left is Automotive Row. We got a Lowe's. Home Depot was just over there to our right. We went by that. We have a Home Depot and a Lowe's store. And coming up on our right here in a little bit will be a Super Walmart. Oh boy, all the thrilling stuff about Alaska, huh? Anyhow, I just wanted to show you some of this so you guys understand that we have all the same resources that you guys have in the lower 48. It's just everything up here is just slightly more expensive because of the increased cost of shipping to get everything here. And as you can see now, I'm in the big city. Well, Wasilla, the big city. And traffic is backed up. In fact, it's 6:30 in the morning. I'm trying to get through Anchorage before we get too close to rush hour. But as you can see, I'm already getting caught up in it. There's our Lowe's store, local Ford dealership. And there's a Chevy dealership. And there's a Dodge dealership. Little motel over here, the Grandview Inn and Suites. There's this little pizza place here called Locals Pub and Pizzeria. It's horrible. Ate there one time, never go in there again. It was just horrible. Okay, now we're coming down here to Seward Meridian Parkway. Super Walmart on our right, Sears Roebuck on our left, rather, and Walmart on our right. Super Walmart on the right. There's your Super Walmart store. Oh. Anyhow, a little bit better view of the mountains coming out here as we come down the hill. We'll be going out here across the Palmer Hay Flats, which is a good place to see some moose. Although this time of year we're probably not going to see any. So, anyhow, traffic here usually picks up and starts going pretty quickly. So I'm going to start driving here and stop recording. Here's a little view of the Palmer Hay Flats. The Palmer Hay Flats here is the very end of the Nick Arm. The ocean kind of comes in up here on the right. But give you an idea of some of the mountains. That's Pioneer Peak up there. We're now Wasilla is behind us. The town of Eagle River is well over there against the mountains, and the town of Palmer, Alaska is to the left of us. Palmer is that way. Show you a little bit about the mountain now. Believe it or not, I'm doing 75 miles an hour. For some reason, driving across the Palmer Flats, you can see the Palmer Flats there. Now, sorry about the windows being dirty over there. They're full of Lily's nose prints, but there's the Palmer Hay Flats. Everybody drives like crazy here. Speed limit 65, everybody drives 70, 75. And in the entire time I've lived up here, I've never seen a cop out here trying to slow anybody down through this part of the road. It's just generally accepted that everybody can just do 75, I guess. So, because if you're not doing 75, by God, you're going to have people all over you. I'm not one for speeding usually. Oh, maybe a mile or two over the speed limit. But up here, everyone drives real fast, and I'm a firm believer that regardless of whatever the speed limit is, the safest speed you can drive is just to stay with the flow of traffic. Not faster, not slower, just kind of keep pace with everybody. There's the Nick River. Crossing that now. Again, sorry about the nose prints in the window, but you can blame the dog for that. That dog. That sleeping dog there. It's all her fault. Alright. So that's kind of... Sorry about the shaky camera work, but I'm trying to drive and handle my big camera all at the same time. A lot of traffic through here, everybody heading to their jobs this morning. So that's the one nice thing about being a homesteader is you don't have a daily commute. You know, my daily commute's walking out of the cabin, walking over to the feed barrels and getting feed for the critters. That's about the extent of my daily commute. And I don't miss it. I used to live in New York and driving back and forth to Kennedy Airport all the time, which my dad did for most of his life. I'm an airline brat. My dad, there's the ocean right there. Very tip of the north end of the arm. Looks like we're at high tide, which really sucks for me. Damn it. I was kind of hoping it'd be low tide now, because if it was low tide now, by the time I got to Seward and started unloading my truck or my boat, it would be at high tide. If it's at low tide, then I got a mountain to climb up and down the ramp from the boat docks up to where the truck will be parked. And that's going to just mean a lot more hard physical labor for me, back and forth, trip after trip after trip, getting all my stuff off the boat. Moving day, moving everything off the boat. Alright, so now we're over here on the south side of the Moose Flats, up against the mountains, and we're heading in towards the town of Eagle River. We'll hit Eagle River, and then that'll take us into Anchorage. We're probably about mile 30 here on the Parks Highway. Again, I live at mile 96 on the Parks Highway. So I've already been driving for, it's 6:49 this morning. I left about an hour ago, maybe a little more than an hour ago. So, yep, it's a long drive going down to Seward. I've got another hour and a half at least before I'm going to get there. So I'll try to show some more footage as we're going along. We'll end this here. Well, folks, here's something that we don't see very often here in Alaska, and that is a traffic jam. I think in the entire time I've lived up here, I've only seen this happen 3 times here in the last 6 years, and every time it's because of some fender spender from the people driving down the road too fast. This section of road that I'm on here, we're right by the Chugiak North Birchwood exit of the Parks Highway. As I was saying just a minute ago, everybody drives like maniacs through here. They come through the Palmer Hay Flats, even though it's a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit, everybody's doing 75 miles an hour. And then they get into the more congested areas here and they don't slow down. And sure enough, we have an accident. So I'm sure all this traffic here is because somebody ran into somebody, and now everyone's backed up. So, yep, very untypical for Alaska. You don't see this very often. All right, well, we're slowly rolling here, so maybe we'll get somewhere. Okay, kids, here's a little bit of Anchorage as we're rolling into Anchorage, Alaska. Right here by the airfield. See all the airplanes. This is the airfield here. This is not the airport. Alaska has the highest number of pilots per capita than any other state in the United States. We've got more pilots here in Alaska than any other state in the United States on a per capita basis. Actually, I think we just have more pilots, period. And that's because of the remoteness of Alaska. A lot of people, if they want to get someplace, you got to take a little plane and fly out wherever you're going to. And fly out into the bush. A lot of these planes will have big Tundra tires on them. These big, looks like big, fat, oversized, almost comical-sized tires on them. And that's made for landing out in the rough country in the bush. So, anyhow, no different than any other big city. Auto parts stores, fast food restaurants, big high-rise buildings. Anchorage is just a city like any other city. This could be any city in America. It's not too thrilling to look at. I don't find it particularly exciting or interesting. But I want you guys to know that just because we can live very remote here in Alaska, we still have access to everything that you have in the lower 48. Everything. All the major grocery stores are represented up here. All the major banks are represented up here. All the retail outlets, all the fast food outlets. Everything from Arby's to Benihana's to Pizza Huts to Burger Kings. I mean, all of them. Olive Gardens, and I think there's even a Texas Roadhouse in now. So that little restaurant right there, see that one with the yellow sign says restaurant? They do pan-fried chicken. I gotta tell you, it's one of the nicest places to go to eat. Looks like a little tiny greasy spoon restaurant there, but man, is their fried chicken ever good. It's deep South, South America, or Southern U.S. recipe for doing pan-fried chicken. Buttermilk chicken, man, is it good. So, anyhow, this is Anchorage. Buy here, pay here's, and Enterprise car rentals, and BMW, and all your typical, you know, stuff that you see in any inner city kind of stuff. Speedy glass over there, just typical city. So anyhow, we'll get some more once we get on the other side of Anchorage. Hey kids, all right, so we're just out of Anchorage now. We're on the south side of Anchorage, and we're coming down to the ocean again. This is part of the ocean as it comes in here by Anchorage. You can see it out that direction, all the salt water. Oh, now we're getting down behind the railroad tracks, and there's some big flat open wetlands here. This is known as Potter's Marsh, P-O-T-T-E-R, Potter's Marsh. And in Potter's Marsh, a lot of waterfowl habitat. There's no hunting in here, obviously, but look at all the houses up there on the hillside. That's called the hillside area there. You can see all the houses built up there. All those houses up in that area have these wonderful views of the water over there, which you can't see right now because of railroad tracks, but we'll get a better shot of it here in just a minute. Here you can see some of the mountains, and I'm quickly catching up to a train here. Maybe not too quickly, but I'm catching up to a train here, so we'll probably have the railroad between us and the water for a bit. But there you can see some of the ocean. Comes in here, this little inlet here, and there's more houses up on the hillside. Around the corner here, around that corner into the next drainage, I actually have a property listed for sale. Just a small building lot for $300,000. Well, it's about a quarter acre lot. Actually more than that, but almost a half acre lot. But about $300,000. This is actually a cargo train going down the tracks here, but when you come up on the cruise ships into Seward or down here on the Kenai, and you take the scenic railroad that brings you up, actually brings you all the way up to Talkeetna, up here where I live. This is the same tracks that they run on, although this is a commercial guy here. A lot of train operations going on here in Alaska. In fact, one of the, I don't know if I can get this far enough away from me to get a good shot, but one of the really cool things up where I live is we're the last flag stop service in any rail service in America. What that means is that anywhere up in the area where I live in Alaska, I can walk over to the railroad tracks, and if a train's coming along, I can actually flag them down and they'll stop and pick me up. Flag service is the only remaining spot in America where there's flag service, and that's because the railroad actually services a lot of the people north of Talkeetna that live up in the bush. A lot of those folks don't have any roads in that area. They have no means of getting out and getting anywhere except in the rail service. So in the wintertime, they'll take their snow machines. In the summer, they'll take their four-wheelers, and the rest of the time, they'll just walk over and flag down the railroad to give them a ride into town so they can go do their grocery shopping or what have you. Or wait for materials to be delivered. It's not uncommon for the train to load up a load of lumber or equipment or whatever somebody needs delivered to them, and the train will drive to a designated spot and simply unload it off to the side of the tracks and leave it there on the side of the tracks, and the folks, whoever ordered the stuff, will then go and pick it up and have their material that they wanted, and then they can go ahead and pay the train however they work out their accounting. So here's some more of the ocean. Well, here's some more of the train right now, but you can see some of the arm right there. Here I'm up higher than the train. You can get a little bit of a view. It's just beautiful up in this part of Alaska. I got high cliffs and stuff here on the left side of the road. Now during the springtime, this cliff along the side of the road here, there'll be waterfalls all over here. Hundreds, literally hundreds, if not thousands of waterfalls all along this cliff here, going along this section of the road. So here you can see some of the mountains coming around the inlet. Got some flatbeds there on the train so we can shoot over them. Again, I'm sorry this is so bouncy. I shot some footage in the springtime. I'll cut in some of that footage. Where I actually stopped and shot some stuff and got some better footage. I don't have time today to do that, but give you a better idea. There's a little bit of the Seward Highway going down to Seward. It's now 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 3.5 hours into the drive. I got about an hour and a half left to get into Seward. Thereabouts. You can see the hillside there and the trees. We're down in an area known as the Kenai Peninsula. This is a little peninsula of land south of Anchorage, Alaska. Kind of the northmost part of the southeast Alaska and the southernmost part of central Alaska. Give you an idea kind of how rugged the hills are here and how beautiful this is. It pretty much looks like this from Anchorage all the way down to Seward. In fact, we're going to go through one area here where I wouldn't be surprised to see some snow, but you can get an idea what it looks like out the side window. Had a little break in the rain right now, so thought it'd be a good opportunity to, oh, there you go, that might help widen that out a little bit. Might be a good opportunity to show you a little bit. Very typical of the Kenai Peninsula here in Alaska. Actually, it's very typical of just about anywhere in Alaska. You have the boreal forest, the spruce forest on the sides of the road, a lot of spruce trees. You get up closer to me, a little bit further north, we start getting some aspen, some birch in the woods. And down here it's more spruce and some cottonwood. But down here on the Kenai, they get into much larger trees. This area stays warmer than us and much, much wetter than us. In fact, one of the reasons why I'm selling my boat down in Seward is because all it does in Seward is rain. It rains and rains and rains and rains and rains. There's been very few days I've been able to go down there and take my boat out and enjoy myself. So since I'm selling my land here in Alaska, I thought now would be the time to go ahead and get the boat sold. And hey, when I get down to Ohio, I'll buy myself a little pontoon boat or something for going up and down the river. Or maybe I'll, you know, buy a sailboat and keep it over in Virginia or someplace. You know, just drive over there and use my boat when I want to. I do like to sail. In fact, you know, if things go well and I make a lot of money in the future, don't be surprised if old Grandpa buys a sailboat and sails around the world. Because that's been a dream of mine for a long, long time. All I got to do is find the right lady who's got enough guts to do it with me, because apparently the one I have didn't have the guts for it. All she did was put up obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, otherwise we'd already been around by now. She was chicken. I need to find me a lady that's got some guts to her, some gumption, somebody who wants to travel and bold enough to go for it and do it. So few and far between. We're actually starting to get into the fall colors here. You can see a little bit of the trees the deciduous trees are starting to get a little lighter in color than the conifers. You start seeing that now, just beginning here. And here it is, August. And we're already getting our color change started. But that's Alaska for you, you know. We have 4 seasons. We have spring, summer, and fall. And then the other 10 months out of the year we have winter, seems like. So anyhow, here's just a little bit of the Kenai Peninsula, give you a little flavor of what Alaska can look like. You can see we're in a heavy traffic environment here. Yes, I'm being a little facetious, but it is kind of pretty. And the roads are a little bouncy. That's typical up here in Alaska. We get a lot of frost heave in the wintertime where the dirt underneath the road freezes. Oh, there's a waterfall. Sorry about that. We get a lot of frost heave in the wintertime, and that tends to break our roads up. So we're constantly doing road construction here. So really, I guess you could say we have 2 seasons in Alaska. We have winter and construction season. There's another waterfall. A lot of waterfalls along through this area. It's kind of pretty, isn't it? All right, mile 58 on the Seward Highway. All right, well, I'm going to drive for a bit, folks. Here's another spot along the Seward Highway. Bit of a mountain pass that we have to go through. But you might enjoy this. It's kind of pretty in through here. Got a Chevy van on my butt. Must be in a bigger hurry than me. This guy's driving ridiculously slow. Get over, little car. There you go. Let the big boys go. I'll move over and get out of the way. I guess that van doesn't have enough ass to get up the hill. Bus full of kids. Man, he shouldn't be driving that fast. Not on these roads. Not with precious cargo like that. Oh, there's the pretty area, huh? I thought you guys would enjoy this, and it's not raining in here right now. Which I'm surprised. I would have thought it'd been raining up here in the past, but it's not. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see if it was snowing up here. But it's pretty warm. It's 54 degrees out. So we're not going to get any snow today. But it has snowed up here almost every day of the year in this part as we go through this high mountain pass. You heard my phone chime, didn't you? My phone chimes all the time now. Every time somebody puts a message or a comment on my YouTube channel, my phone gets an email. My phone is chiming all the time now. I love it. I love knowing that there's that many folks out there interested in watching my videos and commenting and being part of the community. It's just absolutely friggin' awesome. And up here, I'm surprised I even have phone service, so I don't expect it to chime while going through the pass here. In fact, this next, 45 minutes to an hour of the road here, I am outside a phone service area. So I'd really be surprised to hear it chime much more through here. This is one of the prettier sections of the road going through this part of Alaska here on the Kenai Peninsula. I am south of Anchorage, north of Seward, about halfway between the two actually. Maybe it's still a little closer to Anchorage. I'm at mile 49 on the Seward Highway. That's how you tell where you are up here in Alaska. It's whatever mile you are on the highway. Like I live at mile 96 on the Parks Highway. So people ask where I live, I tell them mile 96 on the Parks Highway, and that gives them a pretty good idea where I'm at. We're at mile 49 on the Seward Highway. So in other words, I'm about 150 miles, maybe 170 miles from my place now. You lose a little bit of the mileage going in through Anchorage. Well, what do you think of that road, folks, huh? Isn't that pretty? Let me get a little side window action here for you. This is the High Mountain Pass between Anchorage and Seward, Alaska. There's a little pond down there. Now these ponds freeze absolutely solid in the wintertime. Absolutely solid. That pond's only about 8-9 feet thick and it'll get solid ice. It gets cold up here and it gets a lot of snow up here. Well, actually it doesn't get real cold up here, but it gets a lot of snow. It doesn't get cold like Fairbanks cold. Fairbanks, Alaska gets colder. The more you go inland in Alaska and get away from the ocean, the colder it gets. And surprisingly, the hotter it gets. The ocean tends to moderate our temperatures. It doesn't allow it to get quite so cold or quite so hot. So, anyway, I'm going to drive here for a bit, so I will talk to you later. Well, hey kids. Grandpa here. It's 2:09 in the afternoon. Took me a whole lot longer to do that than what I expected. A whole lot longer. But I did get the boat sold and I got all my stuff off of it. So that's one real big job that I got completed. So I'm thrilled that I got that done. It is raining up here. It's like it's all it ever does here in Alaska is rain, at least this part of Alaska along the coast. Not nearly so bad up where I'm at, although I get a lot of rain in August. It seems to me down here in Seward, that's all it does is rain. Rain, 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 rain. One of the reasons why I disliked owning my boat here, it was hard to take it out. I would check the weather and the forecast every day was rain. Not too bad in May and June, but all of July and August been nothing but rain. Yeah, people definitely, from Seward, people definitely go down to Seattle to dry out. That tells you how wet and rainy it is up here along the coast. So anyhow, I'm heading home. I'll be back in the sunshine here pretty soon, in an hour or so. Got a little 5-hour drive ahead of me, about 250 miles. But 2 o'clock, 5, 7, I'll be home 7 o'clock this evening. 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 11 o'clock for you if you're on the East Coast. And we'll see how it goes. But got the boat sold. Big relief. Big weight off my shoulders. One less thing I have to worry about. I was so worried that the bilge pump was going to fail and it was going to sink. The boat had a slight leak and the bilge pump had to kick on every so often to keep the boat afloat. So I was really concerned that it was not going to be in the right position. And in fact, when I got here, sure enough, they had moved my boat to a new slip, and they had the bilge pump turned off, so the bilge was beginning to fill up with a little bit of water. No problem, kicked the bilge pump on, it dumped immediately, but now I left the bilge pump on for the new guy. Old retired Marine bought it. Guy's an old gray-haired fella. He's in his 70s, and he bought it, and he's going to sail around here in Alaska with it a little bit for the rest of the summer, and then he's heading down to Arizona. I told him, well, you bought the boat, just sail it down to Mexico. So now he's chewing on that idea and giving it some thought. He might just sail the boat down to Mexico. It'd be a fun thing to do, and boy, if I wasn't moving to Ohio, that's certainly what I'd be doing. I'd be sailing that boat down to Mexico. A lot of folks like RVing. I don't get the RV thing. I really don't. They're very expensive. They burn a lot of fuel. You got to pay at campgrounds to park them every night. They're just a pain in the neck. Sailboats, they don't cost anything to drop the anchor and be on the hook overnight. There's lots of anchorages you can just pull into, drop your anchor, and there you are. And they hardly burn any fuel whatsoever, because they're wind powered, right? You do use your engine for navigating a little bit inside the harbors and stuff, and when the wind isn't blowing, because it doesn't blow all the time. But sailboat's a much better idea than an RV for travel. Lots of places to go and see, lots of really cool anchorages, and away from all the crazy people. I think all of us homesteaders could probably relate to that. You know, we're not city dwellers. We don't like to be around a lot of folks. We like to be out in the country, and there's nothing more country than being a mile offshore. That's country, folks. A whole different set of species out there. Some just as dangerous as grizzly bears, and some just as good to eat as chicken, and some fun to play with and watch. But anyhow, it's raining. I'm going to get going. My arm's getting tired holding the camera, so I'm going to end this here. We will talk to you all later. How about them toad suckers? Ain't they sappy? Sucking them toads offshore make them happy. Hug 'em mug of toad suckers way down south. Sticking them sucky toads in zay mouth. I be a toad sucker knowing a duck it. Just find an old toad and you rear back and suck it. Folks, you have a good day. Bye.